Here's a fairly straightforward song. The Adele version and the original Bob Dylan version are really quite different from each other, and I'm definitely focusing on the Adele version. But either way, we have an 8-bar intro, an 8-bar verse, which is exactly the same as the intro, and then there's another section, a bridge or a chorus if you like, which is also 8 bars, and that's really all there is. Adele's version is in the slightly unfriendly key of B flat, great for piano, not so great for guitar, but if we have a capo on the 3rd fret, we can play as if we're in G and we match the original. The intro is 8 bars, as I've said, and there's a chord for each bar, except one place where we cram in 2 chords in a single bar. We start with a G, then there's a D, and we have F for a bar, C, then there's C minor. I'm playing that as an A minor shape, barred on the 3rd fret. Back to G. Now it's 2 beats each of A7 and this chord, C, but with a little finger added on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string to make C add 2. A little, almost a clash at the top of the chord that creates a nice little flavour there. Back to G again finally. So all of the intro is G. Now D, F, C, and we get C minor, back to G, then 2 beats each of A7, our C add 2, and G again, and that's all there is. As I say, the verse is exactly the same. Now we can copy the descending bass line from the original a little bit before we run out of string, but we start with a G. We're already playing a note on the 3rd fret of the bottom string. If we then move to D, but wrap the thumb round to play F sharp on the 2nd fret of the bottom string. Now we go to F, and when we go to C, we can also play the open 6th string. So we're going to get ideally, I'd like to play my C minor with an E flat in the bass and keep going, but we can't. That's as far as we can go. So let's try this newer version of the sequence with the verse. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, C minor, I could offer you a warm embrace, A7, to make you feel my love. 2nd verse is just the same. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years, A7, to make you feel my love. Okay, that's the whole of the verse. Just a thing you could think about. We're playing in G, or as if we're in G, and in fact the open strings of the guitar are tuned to the key of G, so it's really easy to include hammer-ons and pull-offs, particularly on the chords that themselves are in this key, like the G, the D and the C chords. For the G, C chord, that kind of a thing. The D chord maybe less so if you're playing the F sharp in the bass, but that kind of a thing, that works too. So really any string, you want to play it open and then hammer on the finger that ought to be there for the chord. That's going to work. And do the opposite. Hammering off, if you like, it's called pulling off, the fretting finger onto an open string to sound it like that. Okay, so let's just have a bit of the verse with a bit more of that kind of thing. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your face, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. Okay, it gives it almost more of a country feel. Let's have a look at the chorus. Now the chorus, or the bridge, is 8 bars and it starts off with 6 bars alternating between C and G. And because we're playing those two chords together, I'm actually going to keep my little finger on the 3rd fret of the top string, whether I'm playing the C chord or the G. That works really nicely for the C chord and it creates a bit of continuity. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. One more time. I've known it from the moment that we've met. Now we have A7, no doubt in my mind, to D, where you belong. And we're into the next verse. Just a couple of details there. When we get to the A7, in fact, in the second time through the chorus, it's A minor 7. So like a C chord, but without a finger on the 5th string. That's going to be A minor 7 instead of the A7 that we've got in this chorus. The other thing to say is that in the 3rd bar, we would normally be moving straight to a C chord, but we're actually going to play this. We've got our little finger at the top string, the remnants of our G chord, and I'm going to add a 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 4th string to create something called E flat augmented. Just for 2 beats before we get onto the C, and that sounds like this. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I find that a bit tricky. I've known it from the moment that we've met, no doubt in my mind where you belong. Okay, well that's pretty much all there is. The very final verse ends with our 2 bars, to make you feel my love, and that just repeats, to make you feel my love. So let's have the whole thing. We'll have the intro, 1st verse, 2nd verse, chorus, and then I'll play the 3rd verse as if we're finishing the song. So we'll play the final ending too. Blowing in your face, and the whole world is on your case. I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, there is no one there to dry your tears. I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. See? I know you haven't made your mind up yet. Here's the augmented chord. But I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met. A7, no doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, I'd go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. A7, to make you feel my love. Last 2, to make you feel my